Welcome to Fluentish, the podcast. Season 1 of this show is called The Bilingual Blueprint from Hesitation to Conversation, and you've tuned into the 10th and final episode where we are addressing the question, do I have to handwrite in my additional language? Typing is enough, isn't it?
If you're new here, I'm Rebecca, founder and author at Little Crab Educational Press. I've been learning Mandarin for over 20 years, and I'm sad I never learned the name in Mandarin of my favorite buckwheat noodle and chili oil dish that I used to get from a restaurant for my work lunches back in Shanghai.
I'm Lisa, co-owner and graphic designer at Little Crab Educational Press, a French language learner, Rebecca's little sister, and I love telling our big brother he looks old.
We firmly believe that language learning is for everyone, so you won't find any language snobbery here. Whether you want to be fluent or are happy being fluent-ish, just come as you are, whatever your level.
We're here to cheer you on.
This episode of Fluentish, the podcast, is brought to you by Flowdesk, our favorite email marketing tool. Flowdesk keeps everything on brand, is easy to use, beautifully designed, and seamless. And Flowdesk does not punish you for growing your business. Start for free and then enjoy unlimited emails and subscribers for one flat rate. Get excited for powerful yet intuitive and affordable email list building. Use the link flowdesk.com/c/littlecrabpress to get 50% off your first year of Flowdesk. You know, when we think about writing in a second language, a lot of us immediately picture essays, journal entries, or maybe even just filling out worksheets. But today we are peeling back another layer. Does how we write actually matter? Like, do I have to handwrite in my additional language? Isn't typing enough? Back I know you've got thoughts on this, especially when it comes to how handwriting can impact not just learning, but also how your brain engages with its composition skills. So in our season 1 finale episode number 10, Rebecca, as our resident CELTA-certified language teacher, what would you say to the question, do I have to write in my additional language? Typing is enough, isn't it?
Okay, there is a pretty big blueprint for this one, especially because I'm going to break down handwriting and composition both together and separately here. But first, a fun fact. Lisa, what is a kind of writing that doesn't require you to be fluent in the language to be proficient in this type of writing?
Emojis. I don't actually know.
Calligraphy.
Oh,
yes. So people find calligraphy to be an activity that is meditative, creative, improves your hand-eye coordination. Well, maybe not hand-eye coordination, but like fine motor skills.
Fine motor skills.
Fine motor skills. That's the word I was looking for. And it's an example of a way you can engage in a second language without it being a requirement that you're already fluent. So you can get into handwriting in a second language if you're practicing calligraphy and just do it for the art of it all.
Just, kind of fluentishly?
Yes, fluentishly, exactly. But if you're actually trying to learn the language so you can speak it and read it, then your handwriting isn't going to be all calligraphy. So my first main point is handwriting matters because it allows you to spend time with your passion.
Alrighty.
Brain fact. You need to linger on what you are learning. Otherwise, you won't absorb it. It kind of reminds me of when I was younger and our dad was teaching us how to do chores. And he was criticizing my vacuuming skills because I obviously was trying to do it way too fast and was just kind of like running the vacuum over the carpet just to run it over the carpet, not actually allowing the vacuum to suck the dirt out of the carpet. So again, you need to linger on what you were learning. Otherwise, you won't absorb it. Just like if a vacuum is pushed over the dirt too fast, it won't suck any up. Handwriting.
Are you really vacuuming?
Handwriting lets you linger.
Mhm.
So there's an article in Scientific American that talks about how handwriting activates widespread brain areas, including motor, visual, spatial processing, and memory regions, more than typing does. So it strengthens neural connections that support learning.
Mhm.
And by the way, parents, if you are trying to convince your child to practice or improve their handwriting, the following bit of information will give you fodder for your argument. There's a study by Karen H. James and Laura Engelhardt called The Effects of Handwriting Experience on Functional Brain Development in Pre-Literate Children. And it clearly overlaps with adults who are learning a second language. So I'm going to read quite a big chunk of it, but I think it's worth it. So they say, we argue that construction of letters, stroke by stroke, helps children understand the important components that define a letter. But this creation process is not the whole story, or we would see the same results for printing freeform and for tracing. Although the actual motor tasks of printing and tracing may be very similar, the processes that occur prior to the motor act, as well as the output of the motor act, are both quite different. Only freeform letter printing leads to a non-stereotypical, noisy form of a specific letter. They assert that this variable output is a crucial factor in learning to identify and categorize letters. Categorization based on exemplars that are variable may create a broader letter representation, leading to enhanced letter identification skill and perhaps greater fusiform gyrus activation. In summary, when pre-literate children perceive letters, only free-form printing experience results in the recruitment of the visual areas used in letter processing and the motor regions seen in letter production. This finding adds to previous research showing that letter perception is facilitated by handwriting experience, and it further suggests that handwriting experience is important for letter processing in the brain. So I would not be surprised. I didn't have time to dig super deep and see if there's a similar study done in Chinese, but I believe that it's fairly logical to have a follow on that would be the same for producing characters and reading characters.
Right.
The letter perception being facilitated by handwriting experience and handwriting experience being important for letter processing in the brain. I just don't see how that could possibly be different for characters.
Right.
So while typing is efficient, it often sacrifices depth of processing. But if you are like me, you might have a major roadblock. So a little story time. When I was in seventh grade, I started off in one division. There were two divisions of seventh grade. I started off in one, and for whatever reason, I got moved or asked to be moved or something to the other division. And the teacher who was teaching that second division was definitely annoyed that I had entered her class late. And she had already clearly been working really hard on getting all of her students to write in cursive the way that she wanted you to write in cursive. So she criticized how my T's had a loop. And so you could see through the T. It wasn't like a tight T. So she didn't want the T's to look like L's with a slash through them. And that's just one example. So I would go back over my writing and fill in all the T's. And then my work would look worse than if I had just gotten good at writing the way that my brain and hand was starting to learn to naturally do it. And that kind of gave me this little obsession for the rest of my life, basically. And to this day, especially now that the years have gone by and I've used the computer more and the cell phone more and everything like that.
The cell phone.
The cell phone.
She's
Well,
young and hip, folks.
yeah. The mobile phone. My handwriting's gotten even worse. And that is absolutely the case for Chinese as well. And I never got any good at Chinese, any good at Chinese handwriting, that is. My characters are very long and stretched.
Yeah.
They're too vertical, and I can't seem to get them to squish into, even obviously when I use a character box, I mean, that makes a huge difference, but
Freehand is still challenging.
but freehand is still challenging. So I don't know if I'm going to spend a significant amount of time trying to develop my handwriting skill, in the sense of get myself to the point where I'm on my deathbed, I've studied Chinese to the maximum that I possibly can, and I somehow between now and then am able to look back and go, wow, I managed to work hard and got my handwriting in Chinese up to a native speaker level. Like,
Mission accomplished.
yeah, yeah. I vary my handwriting too much. There are days when
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that looks really good. And then days where I'm like, I can't even hold a pen. What is happening right now?
Hmm.
I feel bad for people at work when I write a phone message or whatever. So I recall like when I was in getting my BA and, I was handwriting all the time, like in class making notes in a clipboard. I got to a point where I had kind of settled on like, these are how I'm going to form my letters in order to get through a class and
Yeah.
just keep going and not do the thing where
Yeah.
I go back,
I had
So
that too. My note-taking handwriting.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I just can't seem to like make that turn on when I'm like writing a phone message for somebody or whatever, So it really is like, it just feels like a total roll of the dice whether or not I'm going to produce good English letters or not. And so the fact that with my native language, it's hard for me already, I just don't really see the value in spending all of my study time getting really, really good at handwriting Chinese characters.
Yeah. Putting the priority on that.
Yeah, I will devote time in my 50s and 60s when my kids are older to handwriting uh, to get better at it. But that's for
Yeah.
the purpose of learning characters better. So that's kind of one
Yeah.
of the main things I wanted to say is I still see the value in knowing what I have learned about Chinese characters so far, even if my handwriting is terrible.
Right.
Letters are one thing, but characters are another. Just repetitive exposure to reading may not, or perhaps likely won't, be everything you need to learn and memorize Chinese characters. But the beauty of characters is that when you finally learn enough about them, you start to see how you can effectively take them apart, look at all of their components, some of which are called radicals, and then you mentally put them back together, kind of like a beautiful puzzle. And when you do that, and this is crucial, you are allowing Chinese characters to reveal to you the tales of Chinese culture contained within them.
Mm.
So, so I will absolutely keep practicing handwriting Chinese, but again, it would be for the retention of the characters and digging into them and learning what the parts all mean and why that character is formed the way that it is. But I will never have time to improve my speaking or listening or reading or any of the other 7 language skills if I'm just trying to produce characters that look professional on the page.
Yeah. That's not the area that you're looking to gain the most ground in your fluency in right now.
Exactly. Other writing systems have this quality too. Like Chinese characters, Egyptian hieroglyphs are logographic, meaning each symbol can represent a word or idea, and they often visually depict what they mean. Then there's Korean hanja, the historical use, and classical Japanese kanji, which both have Chinese roots. And then there's Sanskrit, the Devanagari script. While Devanagari script is phonetic, unlike Chinese characters, Sanskrit words often carry centuries of layered meanings and are tightly interwoven with Hindu philosophy, cosmology, and Indian culture.
Oh my
So
goodness.
cool. These and some other languages, like Chinese characters, often encode the history, religion, philosophy, and worldview of their people directly into the shape and structure of the written language. Fast forward to modern times, and another reason to learn to handwrite Chinese characters is that we now have these wonderful things called cell phones that have dictionaries like Plecodict and others, which allow you to handwrite the character and hit search, and it will just produce the meaning that you're looking for. When I was in high school and started learning Mandarin, we only had paper book dictionaries. And let me tell you, did it take forever to find every word you're looking for? Yes, it did. Am I happy that I have lived long enough into the digital age that I no longer have to do that? Flipping back and forth within the book based off of stroke order? Yes, I'm very, very happy about that. In fact, I would not have graduated my BA if Palm Pilots had not been invented and I had not been able to borrow one from a friend and do my final essay translation by digitally looking up the words that I needed. So,
Holy moly, no kidding.
so if you have not learned anything about stroke order or things like that, then even a digital dictionary might not be as useful to you. That's probably going to be the case for other character style or character-based languages as well. You definitely need to spend some time at least developing the background knowledge about
Right.
the handwriting skills that are required.
No, that makes sense. That kind of makes me think about the levels of effort that you can put into our tortoise styles, which we spoke about extensively in our vocabulary episode,
Mm.
where we built in opportunities to do them as fast or as slow as you like, depending on your goals. So you can lovingly freehand handwrite from scratch your blown up 200 font size characters and really get up close and personal with every stroke. Or you can trace over our computer font version and save yourself a little time while still getting the benefits of practicing stroke order, because we do encourage you to color code them. So you can just do the color code tracing. Or you can just post typed words if you just want to get the words up on the wall as fast as possible. All of those options have their own benefits.
True.
Mm-hmm. I just have to jump in and say that there was one of our blog posts that I was rereading recently, and like in the intro paragraph, you're like, I honestly believe that if technology weren't where it was today, I wouldn't still be learning Mandarin. You're
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, I would have walked away.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Composition, with or without handwriting. Composition is a true productive skill. Even with inadequate speaking, you can still get a lot of meaning across because of gestures, facial expressions, and context. But if you can't write, if you can't produce words on a screen or a page, then the native speaker trying to read a note or email from you will be totally at a loss. Part of composition is clear written communication, like writing a semi-long email with instructions for something. Another aspect of composition is, of course, creative writing, or more fluent personal expression using the written word. If you can free write in your second language, you have got it made.
Goals.
Pardon?
Goals.
There's an argument to be made that working out our composition in handwriting first will be a better experience. There's a 2021 study that compared learning by handwriting with ink and pen on paper, handwriting with a digital pen on a tablet, and typing on a keyboard. It found that participants felt more vigor or activity when handwriting with an ink pen rather than when typing. I can't say for certain that your composition will be better if you start off working on it by handwriting, of course, but the time it takes to handwrite, I do believe fosters deeper reflection, which may in turn improve your finished work. Well, all this sounds like I'm completely pro handwriting, right? But here's the thing. We here at Fluentish, the podcast, are never going to shame you into thinking you have to do something only one way, or else what you are learning and the pace at which you are learning it means it doesn't count. Back to my poor handwriting. It's okay if I don't have time to improve it now. I can still learn and grow and improve if I choose to focus on typing so that I can get out sentences with better speed and at a greater volume. And it's okay if that means that I will retain fewer new words I used in a given piece of my work. At the end of the day, do what you know you will finish if it means you don't miss learning that day. Unless you have a specific test to study for, writing should be a pleasure. Whether it's handwriting with that perfect pen on that perfect sheet of paper or notebook, or whether it's feeling your fingers fly across the keys.
This show is sponsored by Shopify. Launch your online store and support Fluentish at no extra cost to you. With our exclusive Shopify affiliate link, you can start with a 3-day free trial, then enjoy Shopify's powerful features for just $1 a month for the next 3 months. By using our link, you gain access to Shopify's robust tools and features, and we earn a commission that helps us continue creating valuable content for language learners like you. Find the link shopify.pxf.io/Fluentish in the episode description. It's a win-win!
And that brings us to a little segment where we highlight something in language, language learning culture, or the like that we love, or we just want to go away. In the spirit of our respective second languages, we call this segment "Oh la la" or "boo boo boo." If it is something we love, we'll give it an "oh la la," but if it's something we want to put an end to, we'll give it a "boo boo boo," which means no 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 in Mandarin, but also conveniently sounds like boo in English. In this finale episode, we're both going to be sharing our thoughts
So this time it's going to be, of course, ending on a high note. So we're going to do kind of a bunch of olalas, which is to celebrate that we've gotten to the end of this little capsule season, season one, which is 10 episodes, and address some positives in language learning culture, some of which are positive feedback that we've gotten for our podcast so far. We are excited about that because the whole point of this is to help people, and it sounds like it's working.
We have examples.
As you know, the point of this podcast is to encourage people, to help you keep going, to start, to choose a new language if you want, and to get more insights into ways that you can drill down on the different skills to improve them in a more detailed way. We wanted to put out something that expresses our company pillars, which are perseverance, variety, motivation, inclusivity, and joyfulness. So we hope that episodes 1 through 10 have given you reasons to persevere, have shown you a variety of ways to go about getting over your potential plateaus, has motivated you to keep going. And in terms of inclusivity, not only have we tried to show a very, very wide variety of different languages that you could pursue, but also we want to make language learning feel accessible to the parent whose spouse is teaching his or her native language to the kids and you're trying to catch up, or someone who had started learning a certain language when they were younger and had a big long pause and is considering whether to pick it up again. And the list goes on in terms of really how many different types of people that we're trying to inspire to persevere in their language learning. And that's because we want there to be more language lovers the world over, because as we said before, we believe that monolingualism can be cured. Our fifth and final company pillar is joyfulness. So for this oh la la, Lisa has some joyfulness to spread.
We've talked before about the fact that we have drawn for inspiration for the podcast also from the language learning communities that we find online. And some of you have found us, which is amazing. So this is a quick little bit of listener feedback that was emailed in to us. Your podcast has made me realize that I don't need to be so hard on myself for not focusing 100%, because then I procrastinate and won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sometimes passively listening. This is regarding podcasts in the target language. I'm sometimes passively listening to it while walking. I let my mind wander and then bring myself back in again. And I think surrounding myself with a conversation, even subconsciously, will help me pick up on more of the individual words. That's exactly the kind of thing that we've been trying to encourage people to do, is just like find what works for you. Make imperfect progress. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Let it be a joyful experience. That was one that really hit us in the feels. It was one of the first pieces of feedback that we got, and it was awesome. I want to share another message that was sent in to us where this listener said, I wanted to send you a message to say that I'm really enjoying listening to your podcast. It is making me want to revisit learning French again, and maybe even another language. You and Rebecca are a great team, and your podcast is engaging. Great work. Well, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
We think we're a great team too. And we actually have a review on Apple Podcasts. We have some 5 stars, and this was the first written review that we received. This podcast has motivated me to approach my second language learning from a different angle. Before, I was putting pressure on myself, not enjoying it, and would then procrastinate. Now I feel more relaxed and enjoy my language learning.
Yay.
Mission accomplished. Hello, team. Even our mom said she wants to learn French again.
And none of those comments were our mom.
No, none of those were our mom. Well, there you go. Oh la la to everyone in the community for openness and curiosity and sharing and generosity and vulnerability and joy.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, everybody. We've really enjoyed it, and we're glad that you have too. All of that to say, we very much enjoy reading this feedback. But as you notice, I mentioned that we don't have a ton of written reviews.
Aha.
This is a call out. It's your CTA, your call to action putting a review on the podcast because we know y'all are listening. It feels great to know that you're all
And
out there and listening. But
we
you do
would
reviews, you help more people find the podcast.
and we would love it if you would write the reviews in whatever is your second language or English,
Love
or
it.
do a little writing task where you have both. Up to you.
That's a cute idea. I like it. Never not teacher.
And now we're going to love you and leave you with our last segment, Your Joy Builder. Before we go, we want to leave you with a quick recap, a foundational nugget that should serve as the focal point of what you take away from this episode in order to continue to build diligence and conscientiousness as a language learner.
Writing by hand fosters deeper learning and memory by integrating motor and sensory systems, promoting active cognitive engagement, and enhancing emotional connection. It's especially beneficial for conceptual understanding in adults and literacy development in children. So, when should we be handwriting manually versus typing? Well, to diligently and conscientiously cover all your bases for optimal learning, use handwritten notes for lectures, idea mapping, language learning, and pre and post reading comprehension tasks. Use typing when you need speed, organization, or revision, possibly as a later step after handwritten review. It's been a slice. Thank you for coming along on this language learning snobbery-free adventure with us. We don't know if there will be a season 2 for sure. We have some ideas.
It might take a different form or format.
100%. If there's something you want us to cover that we haven't covered here, we are totally open to bonus episodes.
We're all ears.
Yes, ears. We have lots of ears.
Hello at littlecrabpress.ca.
We have gotten a little bit of user questions. Feel free to submit those. Submit your reviews. Submit your questions and feedback. And let us know if you want to see a season 2 happen.
Like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.
Ting!
If you found value in today's episode, you'll find show notes and links at our website, littlecrabpress.ca, which is also home to our little freebie library, and so much more. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you tap that button to keep on breaking new ground in your language learning. Lastly, please take a moment to review the show on your podcast app, or to send this episode to someone you think could use it. It all helps us continue to build a safe space for the fluent and fluentish that is free of snobbery and filled with joy.
Secundo.
Not forgetting.
I got a cough.
Okay. Oh my God, that sounded like moo or something. That was weird. Roll. Ooh, ink pen than when typewriting. Typewriting, God. Okay, last time.
I'll screw it up this time.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
Where we highlight something in language.
You
want the other one?
See, this is why I get you to do all the winking, because I can't.
Yeah.
Like, I'm winking.
Yeah.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Fluentish, the podcast, is brought to you by Little Crab Educational Press. Thank you to the language learning communities on Blue Sky, Reddit, and Instagram for sharing openly about the struggles that people have to overcome to persevere in the pursuit of becoming fluent or fluentish in an additional language. Remember to subscribe, rate, review, and share from wherever you get your podcasts. This show is edited and produced by Rebecca Jewton with graphic design and support work provided by Lisa Zach, both of whom also research, write, and host each episode. The theme music is by the Canadian duo Milk Fangs. Hear more from them on bandcamp.com.
Fluentish the podcast is recorded remotely between Victoria and Vancouver, which sit in the unceded traditional territories of several Coast Salish nations, across which we are grateful to live and work.